Up until the introduction of our biggest Sonic rival in SA2, Sonic had two main rivals before, Metal Sonic and Knuckles. Both of these characters were designed to counter Sonic's ability, and with the success of Sonic Adventure 1 proving that newer technology allowed for far more realized stories, Sonic Team would create Sonic's biggest rival yet, the black and red hedgehog you all know and love. And whereas Metal Sonic and Knuckles were rivals that aimed to challenge Sonic's ability, Shadow was the first rival to challenge Sonic's ego. Sonic was, and still is, a character ultimately defined by that too cool for school 90s attitude. You spend over 3 minutes not moving, Sonic jumps off the stage, you wait more than 5 seconds and Sonic starts tapping his foot judgmentally while staring you down. This guy has an ego, but you probably wouldn't notice it if you're playing Sonic games correctly or, know how to pause. But Sonic Adventure 2 really propped up this idea of Sonic's ego by having another super fast hedgehog show up.
Hey, that's...
That blue hedgehog again, of all places.
I found you, Faker.
Faker? I think you're the fake hedgehog around here. You're comparing yourself to me? Ha! You're not even good enough to be my...
I'll make you eat those words.
What does this scene mean? It's probably one of the most iconic Sonic cutscenes, and I'm sure there are many ways to interpret these lines, but I would like to consider, what does it truly mean to be a fake? Yeah, this is about to get weirdly pseudo-philosophical, but just bear with me here. I think in context of Sonic Adventure 2, the term fake is supposed to more, say, represent a copy with similar abilities but ultimately not authentic. In fact, in the Japanese version, Sonic says this, which apparently uses a word that translates closely to imitation. And Shadow responds with the word faker, like faker, the English word. I don't know what this means, but I just thought it was interesting. Anyway, Sonic believes Shadow to be a copy of him, and why wouldn't he? At this point in the series, Eggman has made countless robots, all in attempts to replicate Sonic's ability. But Shadow is different mainly because he not only matches Sonic's ability, but he matches Sonic's ego. Shadow believes Sonic is a faker because, well, Shadow is the ultimate life form. The idea of fakes and copies is a surprisingly subtle motif in SA2. The Space Colony arc has enemies that are copies of Chaos from Sonic Adventure 1, Sonic and Shadow view each other as fakes, and when Sonic is supposed to learn the power of Chaos Control for the first time, keep in mind this is a power that Sonic learned from Shadow, he uses a fake emerald. Shadow the Hedgehog's introduction is one that brings into question what the belief of identity in the Sonic universe truly means, and this narrative of identity would be carried over to Sonic Heroes, and most importantly, the 2005 title, Shadow the Hedgehog.
Rules will be broken. Truth will be revealed.
You're going straight to hell. Taking candy from a baby,
will be taken.
Which is fine by me. Who am I?
It's no secret that Shadow has a bit of a reputation for being an edgelord. From his mischaracterizations in his own game to the general consensus outside the Sonic fandom being that, oh, he's just an edgier, darker Sonic. With this sentiment, as well as Sega themselves treating the character more and more like the assumptions outsiders make about Shadow, the Sonic fandom has begun pushing back on this misconception in what I can only assume is an attempt to redefine Shadow for a new generation. The problem is, Shadow is edgy. Obviously in SA2 it's far less pronounced, but come on, look at his character design. Do you really think they made this black and red striped hedgehog with no intentions of him being in the slightest bit dark and edgy? Of course not. The thing is, like many Sonic characters, for him to be well written, there needs to be a balance of his most notable characteristics. I was surprised to see so many people complaining about this scene in Team Sonic Racing Overdrive. Many claimed that this was a mischaracterization and that Shadow shouldn't be portrayed like this. Hello? Shadow is not a saint. He is selfish. The only reason why Shadow wants to save the world is because of his promise to Maria. The only reason why he wanted to destroy the world in the first place was because of his promise to Maria. He shows some level of compassion to his friends, but disregards others because he is a selfish person. Whereas Sonic would always help someone in need, Shadow wouldn't care if you're at gunpoint unless you are of intrinsic value to him. Let Shadow be edgy, but don't overdo it. He is a selfish edgelord, not a malicious asshole. So him taking popcorn from a chow is not some character assassination. It's just a normal thing he would probably do. You're trying to fix Shadow by pulling his entire character in the opposite extreme. Ironically, the best depiction of Shadow doesn't even come from his own game. In fact, Shadow the Hedgehog is one of the worst representations of a character to date. Let's briefly go over what's wrong with how Shadow is characterized here. He revels in doing bad things, he's angry about everything, he cusses and swears for no reason, he's condescending to everyone.
Actually, Shadow is acting this way because he has amnesia.
Oh, I must have amnesia too, cause I don't remember asking. Oh my God! The whole Shadow losing his memory thing is just an excuse to have the events play out as they do, as well as justify Shadow being how he is in this game. If this amnesia thing was really supposed to make sense, then why have him continue being a lonely brooder post-Shadow 05? Oh yeah, that's because Shadow is supposed to be like this. The problem with the game is that it just exaggerates these traits to the point of almost parody. And you can tell the game was just trying to be a more quote-unquote mature Sonic game, with all the guns and shooting and swearing and mentions of terrorism. It's comically bad. I think it's pretty hilarious that they just thought the inclusion of Maria alone made the story organically tie into SA2, which it kind of does, but man, was I surprised to find out how little presence Maria has in Shadow 05. And don't get me wrong, Maria isn't the end-all be-all of Shadow's character. In fact, I honestly really liked how the game ends with Shadow just choosing to move on. It's a surprisingly profound and subtle maturity in a game that's so desperately explicit about everything. But honestly, this game doesn't really build on what we know about Maria and Shadow's relationship that we couldn't obviously infer from SA2. Wow, they've been getting Shadow wrong since, what, his third mainline appearance? I mean, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it seems we're never going to get the Shadow all of us Sonic fans want to see again. I mean, for Shadow to be portrayed correctly again, it'd take nothing less of a miracle. This is it. This is the opportunity for Shadow to be good again. We all saw what Sonic 2 was able to do with Knuckles, and while I'm very excited for Shadow to be a good character again, I'm even more excited for SA2 to finally have its story adapted properly. Like, there is a really good story here, but it's always being dragged down by its awful video game presentation, or its even worse anime adaptation. I really hope Sonic 3 ends up being the masterpiece everyone wants it to be. And I hope this edgy little hedgehog finally gets the respect he deserves. But until then, I'll be waiting here, making videos about whatever interests me. Goodbye, and thanks for watching.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, here's a roll